Think about a moment that changes everything. 1 second, you're a student. The next, you're responsible, not just for yourself, but for the lives of others, for the security of your community, for the future of your nation. That's the razor's edge walked by the young men and women graduating from Burkina Faso's Georges Namoano Military Academy, AMGN. Last week, the Academy's 24th class crossed that line. They stopped being cadets. They became officers, second lieutenants. In a country facing real and complex challenges, this isn't just a graduation ceremony. It's the quiet, deliberate forging of the backbone Burkina Faso needs to stand tall. Forget the tanks and the guns for a minute. This story is about people, young people, and the immense weight and hope placed on their shoulders. Pictures released by the Army General Staff Headquarters, EMGA, show the scene. Sharp, pressed uniforms, boots polished to a mirror shine, young faces, some still bearing the traces of youth, set in expressions of intense focus and solemn pride. The central act, the port de Galons. It sounds simple. Putting on new rank insignia, bars pinned onto the shoulder. But in that moment, everything shifts. Those small pieces of metal aren't decoration. They are a physical symbol of a covenant, a promise made by these young officers to their country, and a promise the country makes to them. It means, we trust you. It means the hard work starts now. It means you are responsible. So, who are these young people? They aren't mythical heroes stepped out of legend. They are sons and daughters of Burkina Faso. They come from cities like Ouagadougou and Bobo Dioulasso, and from remote villages where the dust of the Sahel settles deep. They entered the AMGN gates not as finished soldiers, but as raw recruits full of potential, maybe some nerves, and hopefully a sense of purpose. The academy, named after a respected Burkina Faso military figure, isn't just a school. It's a crucible. Its job isn't just to teach tactics or how to fire a weapon, though that's vital. Its deeper mission is transformation, to turn civilians into leaders, to forge character as much as skill. Imagine their journey. It starts with breaking down the individual. Basic training is tough anywhere, but in an environment acutely aware of security threats, it takes on a sharper edge. It's pre-dawn wake-ups, relentless physical drills that push bodies to the limit, learning to move as one unit, instant obedience to commands. This phase isn't about cruelty, it's about testing resilience. Can you keep going when every muscle screams? Can you think clearly under crushing fatigue? Can you rely on the person next to you, and can they rely on you? It builds the unshakable foundation of discipline and mutual trust an army needs to function. It weeds out those who can't bear the weight before the real weight is added. But AMGN isn't just boot camp stretched over years. Once the initial forging is done, the building begins. The classroom becomes as important as the parade ground. These future officers study military history, not just global conflicts, but deeply understanding the specific security landscape of Burkina Faso and the wider Sahel region. Who are the threats? What are their tactics? What are the complex social, economic, and even environmental factors that fuel instability? They learn strategy, how to plan operations, how to move troops, how to secure an area. They study communications, logistics, the unglamorous but absolutely vital art of supplying an army, map reading, and first aid. They delve into military law and the laws of armed conflict, crucial knowledge for officers who must make split-second decisions with profound consequences, always within a legal and ethical framework. Perhaps most importantly, they are steeped in the principles of loyalty to the nation and its constitution. In a region where military coups have cast long shadows, this emphasis on constitutional order and service to the state, not to individuals or factions, is fundamental. It's about building an army that protects democracy, not overthrows it. Beyond the textbooks and the drills, there's the relentless focus on leadership. What does it mean to lead? It's not about shouting the loudest. It's about earning respect. It's about making decisions under pressure, often with incomplete information. It's about caring for the soldiers under your command, knowing their names, understanding their strengths and worries, ensuring they are fed, equipped, and trained. It's about setting the example, always. A second lieutenant might be the most junior officer, but they are often the one closest to the enlisted soldiers, the first point of contact, the leader on the ground. The academy puts them in simulated command situations constantly, under the watchful eyes of experienced instructors who dissect their choices, challenge their assumptions, and push them to think critically and act decisively. They learn that leadership is a burden, carried best with humility and unwavering integrity. And then comes the culmination, commissioning day. The 24th class has made it. They've survived the physical trials, absorbed the knowledge, grappled with the ethical dilemmas, and proven they have the spark of leadership. The ceremony is steeped in tradition. Speeches remind them of the legacy they inherit and the responsibility they now bear. Senior officers, veterans who have walked the path before them, look on. Families beam with pride, perhaps mixed with apprehension, knowing the path their child has chosen. Then comes the moment. One by one, each cadet steps forward. The old cadet insignia is removed. The new rank bars of a second lieutenant are carefully pinned onto their shoulders. A salute is exchanged. In that instant, the transformation is complete. They are no longer trainees. They are commissioned officers of the Burkina Faso Armed Forces. The handshake, the salute. It's the military's way of saying, "You are one of us now. The task is yours." Why does this matter so much right now for Burkina Faso? The context is impossible to ignore. The country, like its neighbors, faces significant security threats from armed groups. Communities live in fear. Soldiers are on the front lines daily. Losses are felt deeply across the nation. In this environment, the quality, the training, and the character of the Army's junior officers are not just important, they are absolutely critical to the nation's survival and future stability. These new second lieutenants won't be pushing papers in distant headquarters. They will be deployed. They will lead patrols through difficult terrain. They will be responsible for securing villages, interacting with local populations, making crucial judgments in tense situations, and commanding soldiers in potentially dangerous engagements. The Georges Namoano Military Academy is Burkina Faso's frontline factory for producing the leaders it desperately needs on its actual front lines. It's an investment in the future written in human potential. Every graduate represents years of focused national resources, time, money, expertise, poured into a single individual, betting that this individual will make the right choices when it counts. The academy isn't just teaching them how to fight, it's teaching them why they fight and how to fight right. It's instilling the understanding that their weapon is only as effective as the judgment of the person wielding it. That respecting human rights, even in the fog of conflict, isn't a weakness. It's essential for long-term security and legitimacy. That protecting civilians isn't just a rule, it's the core reason for their existence. This ethical grounding, hammered home during their academy years, is what separates a professional, disciplined army that protects its people from a force that simply perpetuates violence. The challenges these young officers will face are immense. They will lead soldiers who may be tired, scared, or frustrated. They will operate in complex environments where enemies might blend into the civilian population. They will face propaganda and attempts to undermine their mission. They will witness suffering. They will need immense courage, not just physical, but moral courage, the courage to stand by their principles, to report wrongdoing, to make tough calls that prioritize the mission and the safety of their troops and civilians above all else. They will need resilience to cope with loss and setbacks. The training at AMGN provides the tools, but the application, day after day, in the harsh reality of the field, is the ultimate test. For the people of Burkina Faso, these newly commissioned officers represent a fragile but vital thread of hope. When a well-trained, disciplined, and ethical officer leads a unit into a community, it makes a difference. It can mean the difference between security and fear, between trust and resentment, between stability and chaos. These young leaders carry the potential to rebuild the vital bond between the army and the people it serves, a bond essential for lasting security. They are the face of the state in remote areas, and how they conduct themselves will shape perceptions of the entire nation. The commissioning of the 24th class from AMGN is far more than a military event. It's a national statement. It says Burkina Faso is not waiting for outsiders to solve its security problems. It is investing in itself. It is betting on its own youth. It is deliberately, painstakingly building its own capacity from the ground up. It recognizes that true security isn't bought off the shelf with foreign weapons. It is homegrown, cultivated in institutions like the Namoano Academy, nurtured through rigorous training, and ultimately borne on the shoulders of young men and women who choose to serve. The path ahead for these new second lieutenants is uncertain and undoubtedly difficult. Some will rise to high ranks. Some will face unimaginable trials. Some may fall. But as they left the academy grounds, bars shining on their shoulders, they carried with them the collective effort of their instructors, the hopes of their families, and the fragile aspirations of a nation yearning for peace and stability. They are the quiet counteroffensive, not just against armed groups, but against despair and hopelessness. They are Burkina Faso's next generation of shield-bearers, forged in the fire of their own determination and the nation's unwavering, necessary belief in its own ability to cultivate the leaders it needs. The weight is immense, but so is the potential they carry for their homeland. Their journey, the real journey, begins now.